Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale action 1998 NASCAR Kellogg's Cornflakes Monte Carlo, driven by Terry Labonte. This one came to me in a mail call from HewittzHotWheelz, along with a custom Porsche that he made for my All Porsche Invitational. That one's a prized possession on my desk now. James said that I could do whatever I wanted to do with this one, so it's going to be my entry to a buddy build that I'm doing with Gary Shorter. Gary and I communicated back and forth and decided on a NASCAR theme, in which he's an expert, any car and any driver, so I'm just going to melt this one down and recast it as, stay tuned and see. This is the first time that I've worked on an action casting, and I can tell you from the get-go here, it's one of the most difficult cars that I've ever tried to disassemble. It's right up there with those green lights that I did for my 3,000 subs giveaway. So I really had to wrestle with this one, but that just speaks to the quality of the car and the company that makes them. Or maybe it speaks to my ineptitude. You decide on that. The metal base, and I easily popped out the back axle, but the front one seems to be mounted along with and underneath the engine, so that stays there for the duration of the custom. It was the glass that was especially difficult. I think it was finely glued along the side window edges, so it took me a little bit of struggling, and I had to cut one of them out separately, but that'll go back together just fine with a little touch of glue. The Monte Carlo has always been a popular choice with the NASCAR teams. This is a picture of Jeff Gordon's. When you leave a respectful comment below, tell me if you're a NASCAR fan or not, and who your favorite driver is. Here we see the paint melting off of Terry Labonte's Kellogg's Cornflakes Special, and you'll see in a moment that premium paint job didn't come off all that easily. And not much time left in the year to tell you what's coming up, but stay tuned for my special run of 10 custom 55 Chevys for sale, the final 4 horsemen build of the year, and I've already finished work on a 2022 year in review, flipping through all of the customs that I did this past year. I invite you to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, I can remind you that it doesn't cost you anything, and it sure helps out my channel, and I'd enjoy seeing your name in the comments week by week. I hope you'll come back soon and often. Just about finished with all the perfunctory pre-paint steps now. The little Monte Carlo has cleaned up well, and it's looking good. This week's community shout-out goes to my buddy in this particular buddy build, Gary Shorter in West Virginia. He, as I said earlier, is a NASCAR enthusiast and somewhat of an expert in our Diecast community. He was the winner of last year's Pink Slips, and here's a reminder that it's set to go again on Super Bowl weekend. More information will be coming on JDC and Paco's Diecast channels, so stay tuned for updates. After ensuring that my airbrush is properly dialed in for pressure, I'm applying a solid red base coat to the Monte Carlo. Gets a tack coat first and then a second coat, and here's my top coat. You may have guessed already, I'm working on the Dale Earnhardt Jr. number 8 Budweiser Monte Carlo. I posted a few WIP pics of this car on my social media sites, and an alert viewer politely pointed out to me that in '98, the year of this Monte Carlo, Dale Jr. was driving an AC Delco sponsored car in the Busch Series, and he didn't start driving the red Bud car until 2000, when he was in the Winston Cup Series. So that shows you how much I know about the fine details of anyone's racing career. Even Dale Jr.'s laughing at me now. I hope you'll be able to look past my oversight and enjoy the build. Every NASCAR racer is decal intensive, and I begin by laying down the ghost white decals. There are 28 of them, and I leave that to set up and dry overnight before I apply the top decals. Did you know that Ralph Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a semi-retired professional stock car racing driver, team owner, author, and an analyst for NASCAR on NBC? He's a two-time Daytona 500 winner in 2004 and 2014, and won the Most Popular Driver Award an astounding 15 consecutive times from 2003 to 2017. Earnhardt drove this number 8 Chevy Monte Carlo for much of his early Winston Cup career before moving to Hendrick Motorsports to drive the number 88 in 2008, retiring as a full-time driver in 2017. Earnhardt ended his career with 26 wins in the Cup Series, a total that ranks him tied for 31st in NASCAR history. It's the next day before I commence laying these top decals as exactly over top of the ghost white decals as I possibly can, and that's no small feat because they're pretty tiny. But I work my way around the car. Not all of them get a top decal. Some are just pure white, like the Budweiser on the back quarter panels and the trunk. Those get left another day to fully dry and cure, and then everything gets clear coated 2 times before reassembly. That's why these projects take me a week each to complete. As difficult as the disassembly was, putting it all back together wasn't so bad. You just do everything in reverse order. So the glass went back in with that side window being reattached with a little bit of glue. The detailed interior goes in. It's going to help to hold that rear axle in place. Remember, the front one is encased in the engine mount. And that's all there is to it. I put a couple screws in there. That's always the last touch. If you do it too tight, you're going to restrict the freedom of the wheels, so I give them a little spin just to make sure they're fine. Like this. It's a NASCAR. Let's have a closer look. Beautiful glossy finish over top of the base red paint job, and all of those intricate little decals that I made up myself and cut out and placed color on top of white. I kept the original Goodyear Eagles on there. Thank you, Action, for putting some authentic rubber on your castings. Let's pop the hood. I just painted the valve covers in there. You can see the roll cage clearly through all of the windows, and some detail on the bottom, including my channel logo. All in all, I think it's a nice little replica of a very recognizable and successful race car. Having not done a lot of checking, I assume this Terry Labonte version is authentic, but in my opinion a little busy, even for a NASCAR that should be heavily decaled. Can I say that I like my Dale Jr. version a little bit better? Red and white is always a striking combination because they're so starkly contrasted, as you can see in this build. So I can display it on a NASCAR winner's podium. I want to remind everyone to follow the link in the description to Gary Shorter's YouTube channel and watch his build too. Gary reported encountering a couple of setbacks and time delays. That happens, and no worries, it'll be up soon. And I've got some special plans for this one that I'll announce to you soon. For now, it's all packaged up for safekeeping until the time comes. Thank you very much for visiting my channel today. I really appreciate it. Drive carefully. It's coffee time.